Jalen Williams lets Mississippi State know that this is his blank as Arkansas defeats the Bulldogs in a slugfest 63-55. The only reason I say this, I didn't know. I thought he said, "This is my gym." I happened to see him in the post-game interview where he said they asked him what he said, and he said, "Oh, I just said this is my blank." I can't say that live, so not exactly sure what he said, but
It seemed obvious to me. In fact, I thought the announcers probably could hear him because they seemed a little coy when they said Jalen Williams letting everyone know this is his place, and I was like, yeah, place doesn't start with a shh sound.
yeah, yeah. But he was letting them know. He did let them know.
Hmm.
So man, what a we've had a couple of shows now where we were like, well, I mean that was a game, and you never felt like it was in doubt. Even some games that were kind of close for at times, and you liked that Arkansas was playing well, but and some people maybe wouldn't have liked this game because this was a slugfest. I mean, this was a defensive clinic. This was a an illustration of how to play hustle ball, scrappy ball, just guard the crap out of everyone, make everything hard. So I loved it. I thought this game was super fun. It was chippy. You could tell that it was physical. Um, I thought this was a great test for the Razorbacks, a team that comes in that wants to do the same thing that they want to do. This is not a team that shoots a lot of threes. This is a team that wants to beat you up, wants to do you up, wants to kill you on the boards, wants to get to the free throw line, wants to get points in the paint. That's a good test for Arkansas. Like, okay, so you're going to try to do the same things with a big team, a strong team. And Jalen said that too. And the thing, he's like, that team is big and those dudes are strong. And he was definitely feeling some of that. So just what a great win, I thought, for Arkansas to pull something like this out, to just out to play that game against the team. And this game really just came down to we're going to make more of those plays than you are.
Yeah, I mean, it was a classic example of what we've said the whole time, which is Arkansas is one of those teams that probably is going to let teams be within striking distance all the time. They're not going to blow out too many teams, and therefore it's going to come down to a couple of shots in the last few minutes. And that's what's been happening the last couple of games. I mean, there's been particular moments you could point to that were like, well, that and Jalen's three was definitely one of those where you felt like whichever team's guys step up and make a big shot, in the last 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I maybe didn't agree as much as far as I didn't feel like it was all enjoyable to watch because it was so defensive and it wasn't. It's not that I don't like the defensive game. It's that these teams, I guess, are just so um, evenly matched personnel wise and speed and physicality that nobody could gain an advantage. And it was just a lot of guys bumping into each other. I mean, I felt bad for the refs in this game because they couldn't call everything, but then it made it seem like their calls were a little inconsistent. But it was like there was just guys bumping into each other all night long, all through the paint. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I think when you have two teams that you could say like, man, neither of these teams can get it going. And there's some games where that's true, and there's some games that's true because the defense is making it true. And until the end of the second half, to the end of this game, neither team was going to let the other team go on a run. They're
Except for
just
like that 1 2 minute spurt at like 10 minutes left in the first half where they went from like 10 points to 21 points or something like that. And it was like a couple of turnovers
Mhm.
and some fast break, but it was literally like 2 minute spurt where we scored like 8 points, got a 7 point lead or something like that, and then it would ground immediately back down to a halt.
Yeah, and I think that's all defense. I mean, I think the defense was saying that there aren't going to be huge, long, extended runs in this game. It because the defense from both teams, and I thought Mississippi State played very good defense. What they did was they just said scoring is going to be difficult in this game. That thing that we talk about, that flow, that's going to be disrupted in this game. It's going to be tough for you to get into that in this game, and it was.
That was definitely the case. I mean, like what you're saying, I mean, the guys were playing good on the ball defense, but it was so you could tell it was so exhausting and so frustrating for the guards especially. They just dribble, 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 put your shoulder down, and it's just like bumping into guys, and then you're just like standing back outside, and you just ping ponged around and you gained no advantage. And then you know what I mean, like that was happening constantly, and it made it where whenever they did somebody they made a good pass and actually got an open look, they were just like exhausted, and like you said, no flow, and it was almost like, whoa, what do I do? And yeah, they definitely missed any easy buckets that they could have gotten, and it was because, I mean, they didn't miss all of them obviously, but it was because of what you're saying, like that defense disrupted all of the rhythm so that nobody could ever get into a rhythm. You know what I mean? And normally Note isn't a kind of guy that needs a rhythm. He's always on to score, but even he just couldn't find an advantage anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was a really well. I thought you had two defensive minded coaches that watched a lot of film and took away a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, I think what Musselman did was we turned the ball over a whole bunch of times in the first time we played them. I think 18 turnovers or something like that. And we got killed on the glass. And those were the two things I think Musselman made points of emphasis that we can't do that this game. We can't do that. And what do you have in this game? You beat them on the glass by 38-39 against Mississippi State. You'll take it. You win by 1 on the glass. I mean, Musselman said he just wanted to be even. So if we're even, we're gonna be all right. We beat them by 1 on the glass. We turned the ball over 6 times.
It's pretty good.
I mean, I like our chances against anyone in the country if we turn the ball over 6 times.
And if you'd asked me to guess how many times we turned the ball over, I definitely would have guessed more than 6. Yeah. But it's just that, I guess it does make sense, because what happened with the reason the game was a little bit of a slog to watch is, with the exception of, like I said,
both teams shot under 38% because of the defense.
And both teams would go deep into the shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said,
there was just nothing there.
That had to be like one of the more low possession games for us, because we usually, score put a shot up in the first 10 seconds. And I'll bet if you look at that, I'll bet that's one of our lowest possession games, because there was a ton of trying to gain an advantage and just passing and dribbling and passing. And then the next thing you know, there's 6 seconds left on the shot clock and somebody's got to chuck it up, yeah. And that was happening on both sides of the ball. They were doing it and we were doing it. And I guess in that way, because the game was low scoring and because it was a defensive struggle, in my head, it feels like there should have been more turnovers, but it wasn't turnovers. It was just guys. If there was somebody in front of everybody all the time.
Well, a huge difference in the game, and probably the thing that won us the game, is that we had 6 turnovers and they had 12. And on some of theirs, we turned some of those into points.
Yeah.
Like some of those were just straight taking the ball away from you and getting it down the court and getting the advantage. We saw that with Devo. We saw that with Likes. So that was a big part of it. Was like we didn't turn the ball over. They didn't turn the ball over a bunch. 12 isn't a lot of turnovers, but it's twice as many as we have, and we needed them. Mm-hmm. I just thought, in a game where everything was rough and hard, obviously it helps to be at home in that game. The crowd seemed like it helped a lot. The crowd was nuts, but just you felt good about grinding one out in a team and against a team that wanted to play the same way that you wanted to play, and you were able to come away with the victory. Getting into some of the players, by the way, like game ball is maybe it's easy for you. Game ball is tough in this game.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough.
Nobody was outstanding. I mean,
I have two guys I'm tempted to get it to. We'll get into. Well, let's go through. We'll go through the. So we played 8 guys, so the rotation was short. Jalen Williams played 33 minutes. By the way, I think they gave him 7 fouls. I don't know what was going on with the fouls. Like
yeah,
every
when
time
he
they announced the fouls, I thought he had one more than he had.
Yeah, the announcers and what was on the screen was not always synced up. And I'm not sure who was wrong. I think because one time Jalen Williams, he got a foul in the second half, and it's on the screen it said it was his second foul, and obviously it wasn't. But and then another
I thought it
time,
was his 4th foul.
and
Like it was, I don't know what was going on.
and then another time at the end there, the announcer said that gives the Hogs 6 fouls, so the next foul both teams are shooting. But on the screen, it said we only had 5 fouls.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know. I don't know what's going on. But he played 33 minutes. I don't know how many fouls he got. He seemed like he was in foul trouble the whole time, but still played 33 minutes, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. So in a game like this, still managed to draw 3 charges because he's a maniac like that. Hits the biggest shot. I mean, I know like Devo's shot was big, like shot was nice. Jalen's shot was that was the biggest shot of the game.
mhm.
That was when he hit that shot, you're like, we're winning. That's
Well,
how it felt.
that was the first time, because like you said, him hitting that shot and then getting the crowd pumped up. I mean, and this is why you said like having the home court advantage. Even forget about how much it might have helped any other part of the game. That pivotal moment that we're talking about, where the game is, we need one team is going to need to make a shot that's going to win this game. Him hitting that shot and then pumping the crowd up gave a little bit of mojo, just enough to our team to, they played a little bit more energized on defense for the next, minute and 40 seconds or whatever it was. Or maybe it was less than that. When did he hit that shot? Was there a minute left?
Yeah, a minute 40 or something like that.
Yeah. And it just, pumped the crowd up in a way that they had to play a little bit more hectic. It just gave that little bit of a bump that we needed to,
Yeah, gave Devo and likes a little bit. They were starting to feel they were feeding off that too, and and they shoot the ball with confidence at that point. They believe it's going in. That shot was huge. And by the way, Jalen Williams also hit a huge shot from the top of the key, where Note drew 2 guys, and he knocked down that 15-foot jump shot just a little bit before that. Those are big shots, man. So Jalen hit 2 big shots. This is the second game where Jalen's hit a huge outside shot. I didn't realize this. Someone had mentioned it, that in this win streak, he's shooting like 40% from the 3-point line or something like that, which is wild. So Jalen, it wasn't his best game, but he did all the things that you were wanting to do.
And he's starting to prove to be clutch. I mean, 1 or 2 times, it's just maybe a coincidence, but you start to get into 3 and 4 times and it's a pattern. And I mean, you have LSU.
You definitely want him on the floor then in games. On the defensive, I mean, clutch charges, clutch rebounds, clutch shots, all of it.
Am I wrong? Am I thinking? Let's say he had the big 3-pointer in the LSU game, right? That was the pivotal shot. Then he had the like double pump 17-footer. Which game was that? Like 2 or 3 games ago.
Yeah.
I remember who we were playing.
Texas A&M.
Maybe. And then tonight, it's starting to become a pattern of, it's not a ton of terrible. There's a real chemistry to that, as far as some guys, when the moment's big, are blackout and they play relaxed, and those are clutch players. And then you have guys that grip, which is what I would do. And, you don't want them shooting the ball at the end of the game. And I mean, as of right now, I'd put the ball, I'd give him a shot if I could work it that way. You know what I mean? Because it seems like he is not affected by the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, so Jalen doing Jalen things. played in a game like this. You say like, hey, he did everything that you expect him to do. Trey Wade played 19 minutes. He played a little less minutes. Had 5 rebounds, had an assist, 5 points. Tony played 37 minutes, so he played almost the whole game as well. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Amude played only 18 minutes. I think he took some shots that Musselman didn't like.
Yeah,
I think
it was kind of weird how I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it worked out, but I'm not sure what Musselman was seeing as far as the 2 guys that played great last game, Amude and Likes. He really played Likes a lot, and Likes was playing okay. He still was much improved from the rest of the season. I mean, he was playing under control. His defense seems like it's way more energized. I mean, he still is a little bit of a liability on the perimeter because he can't all the things we've said before, but his energy just on the ball has been much improved.
Yeah.
But I still was a little bit surprised how much Musselman left him in there for.
Well, I felt like Amude did like going out there and it's fine. I don't think Amude played bad. We had 5 points, 3 rebounds. I think he was trying to figure out if he was still hot, from last game. Like, hey, I'm gonna do a heat check a couple days later, which is never a good idea. And I think Musselman's a shot selection guy sometimes, and I don't think he was crazy about that. So,
well, I've noticed too that I think of all the big men we have that play, Amude is the slowest laterally
in the starting 5.
I even think include
Kamani Johnson in there too.
Yeah, maybe. I think he struggles to stay in front of his guy, in good position in front of his guy. You don't always notice it because he's still there a lot of times, but because if he guards the 3-pointer, his guy can head fake, and a lot of times if you notice, and I'm sure the coach notices this, he's on his back hip. He's still there, so sometimes it's deceptive because it's like, oh, he's still with his guy, but he's not in a good position to make a defensive play, and it causes Jalen or Tony or whoever's down there, Wade, to have to step over, and it gets the cycle of defense starting to break down. You know what I mean? Where guys are having to switch and having to run around and having to do 360s to when the ball's getting passed. And now I still think he's a good defender, and he's got a great body for defense. I mean, he's obviously long and he's pretty fast, but I think he maybe is the weakest of those defenders. But I mean, and that's not, I mean, they're all great defenders, so I'm not saying he's a bad defender. He's just maybe an average defender. And I'd have to go back and look at it, but I'm assuming Musselman must have.
Devo ended up playing 22 minutes. I think Devo gobbled up a lot of those minutes, and I think that was because Musselman said, "Oh, we're going to do just slugfest defense." Well, Devo's good for that.
Well, and they had smaller guards too up there, so I think he didn't mind they had great big men and forwards. So I think his thinking was, I'd rather long term. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking out my butt here, but I think what he was thinking is, in this particular moment, I can afford to have Devo and Likes guarding their guards, or at least that one guard, and I would just as soon in this case have Tony down there freaking slamming with those forwards and centers that they've got down there, because that's really where Mississippi's power was. And I think he was like,
in the second half, he had Tony guard Molinar almost exclusively. Like, he just had him guard him man to man, which is their guard, and then he had Devo or Likes or whoever on the other guys, the smaller guys, because Molinar is 6'3", so he's like he's a taller guard.
I didn't even notice that he was guarding him that whole second half.
Yeah. Like, and I think he just wanted the extra length on him, because that dude,
So who was Note guarding when Likes and him were both on the floor?
I mean, he was guarding their other guards. I mean, he was guarding Moore or
no, but I mean, if Tony was guarding, Tony was guarding that guard, and then Likes is obviously guarding
the smaller one, because Muller is a tall guard. He won't put Likes on him.
But then who's Note guarding?
Well, then I think Note was picking up one of the forwards. Dude, I will tell you this about Note, and getting to Note. So, I mean, Note played 38 minutes, had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Man, Note, that he's got a lot of energy because he plays hard on defense, man. I mean, he is up in some people's business on defense. He's not just like a good defender who like stays in front of his man and stuff. It is harassing defense, and I don't know how I don't know, and he plays that way the whole 38 minutes. I don't know how it looks exhausting.
Yeah, once in a while he goes in there and he gets a rebound amongst the big men, and I think it's Tony or Amude because he's so, it's like a skying rebound in the paint with a bunch of big guys. And I'm like, think that it's Tony, and then it turns, and then he goes flying out of there. I'm like, dang, that's a good rebound for a guard. I have to go back and watch that though and see, because like I said, I don't know why Amude didn't play more because in my mind, that with his body and with the players that they have, you would assume he would be a better fit than Likes out there for a long time. You know what I mean? Especially since like what you're trying to do is get rebounds.
I think here's what I think about Likes. Getting to Likes. So Likes played 20 minutes, so he played half the game. Had 10 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, and I think Likes just made it weird, and that's why he kept him in. I think he just made it weird, like everything else going on, and then Likes is out there, and I thought his defense was terrific. I thought he looked annoying as all get out. I mean, he was like getting low, getting up in people's business. He was coming down. He was sagging off when like some guy one of their big guys would get the ball in the post. Next thing you know, he's got Likes underneath him, ripping the ball away while he's trying to do a post move. Dude, if he's gonna do that, then like let's play him. And and he would. I mean, he had some nice passes. I mean, he wasn't. He was looking to pass.
Kind of feels like he like coach probably saw what, obviously how well Likes played last game, and I'm sure he's thinking what we were saying, which is, dude, it'd be awesome if we can foster whatever that was in the last game and get him to be a solid, substitute for Note, because I'm sure, I mean, Muss has got to be wringing his hands about going into the tournament with one point guard that if he gets any kind of foul trouble or injury, you're just done.
I think what Likes does is like, okay, Likes has to play defense differently than the rest of those guys. He can't do it the same way because he's 5'7". Like, and by the way, they're lying. He's not 5'7", but whatever he is. He has to do it differently, and it does seem like he figured out like I can go out there and be disruptive in a different way. And so you have the game is taking on this like bump and physical kind of feel to it, and then all of a sudden Likes gets out there, and you're like, okay, now what is this about? Like, there's this guy that's just fast as all get out. He's super low to the ground. He's like, I can't dribble. Like, I can't, like, that's annoying. And if he really, and he wasn't doing that earlier, that's not what he was doing early in the year. But if he like really embraces that, that's great to bring off the bench. And then you also have a dude that Likes can finish like a freak at like sometimes too. I mean, he hit that one shot where he was basically laying on the ground. He can still do different things on offense. And so, yeah, I mean, that version of Likes, I'm totally down with him playing 20 minutes a game, because I do think every time you throw him out there, it makes the other team have to be like, sort of a team can try to get comfortable with what you're doing, and then you throw Likes out there and you're like, okay, now this guy's out here he's mixed this whole thing up. This guy's playing different than that because he has to. So to me, we were hoping that there'd be some carryover that he'd be able to bring. I think he did.
Yeah, I think he did.
I think he brought it. I think he did bring some of that. And I think that if he's going to play that, because here's the other thing, he's playing hard on defense. Like, he's physically limited. You can't change your body, but he's figured out how to use what he's got. Which is like, I mean, I know, this, man, when you're playing against guys like that, those guys can still be harassing defenders, guys that you can't bring the ball low, you can't dribble around them. They're a nuisance. But you have to have a really high motor and be really, really tenacious if you're going to be that size and be a disruptive defender. In the last 2 games, he's done that. So I thought that, I mean, props to Likes for realizing that's what happened the last game and saying, I'm going to try to be that guy, that's what it looked like he did.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually say I'm going to give him the game ball for that 3-pointer at the end of the game, and then I'm also going to take that game ball away from him because of that 3-pointer he shot at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, but good on you for making it.
Well, no, I mean, what the hell was that? That was crazy. Like, well, honestly, I'm actually asking, like, not like that's a dumb shot. That's a confusing shot. Like, do you have any idea why he shot that? Like that's
No, just
that's
the
mental.
the crowd.
But that's crazy.
Just feeling it. Just feeling like.
I mean, I get mad. Not mad. I'm not a coach, so I always question the strategy of when you're in a tough game and you're ahead by like 3 or 4 points and there's 2 minutes left and you start just dribbling the ball out there and then like waiting till it gets down to about 8 seconds and then attacking, because I feel like it completely disrupts your flow and you're not far enough ahead to bleed the clock yet. You know what I mean? I feel like you need to run your offense. I'm not saying take an early shot, but like still
don't just hold it till there's 7 seconds left and then try to make something happen.
Well, especially since we were having such a difficult time getting any good looks anyway. So it's unlikely that in 7 seconds, and we were doing that already. We were only up by like 3 or 4, and we'd been bleeding the clock for like the last 2 minutes. And now we're up by 4 and there's 35 seconds left. And it was actually, I was surprised they didn't foul, because they were only going to have 10 seconds left if we shot it with no time left. And they've got to score and then foul and then score again. Like, I don't know what their strategy. I was shocked that they, didn't foul. But now like 10 seconds has gone off the clock. So now it's like they almost can't. But there's still 23 seconds left in the shot clock or something like that. And he jacks up a 3. Like,
and not even like I'm wide open, feet set in the corner. It's too good.
I'm gonna jab step and then jump back like that. That is, like, unless the coach was like told him, hey, they'll never expect you to go down just jack a 3.
I heard Musselman after the game. He definitely did not tell him
what did he say?
He said, we can question that shot selection.
Dude, I thought that was like, it was so insane that I thought maybe it was planned. Honestly, like I was like, he said
that Chris Likes played great and he's bringing something different to the floor. And he also said we can talk about whether that shot was a good idea at the end, which I don't think he thought it was, but he made it. So it's a good. I mean, it's a good thing you made it.
If you brick that shot, dude, and they pull down the rebound, you literally just gave them 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just gave them 20 seconds. That's crazy. And it's such a low percentage shot. I mean, it went in, so who cares? But like that, I was just confused.
Maybe he's like, man, I've been playing so hard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's because it wasn't the thing that like Note and him have where it's like, I'm feeling myself, so I'm gonna just shoot up this like bad shot. That was one where it was like, it was I was like, did you lose your mind? Like, do you know what quarter it is? Like,
right.
Do you know it's the end of the game? Do you think this is the end of the half? You know what I mean? Like, it was just confusing.
Yeah, I agree. Devo played 22 minutes, had 6 points. Weird stat line for him. He had 6 points, didn't shoot the ball a lot. He was 3 of 5, so he shot okay. Had one rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. But I did think he played good defense and did some good stuff.
And that shot he hit was humongous.
Huge shot.
Because that was also not a good. It wasn't his fault, but that was just,
he had to shoot it.
That was a bad play or not.
It was a bad possession. We just didn't get a good shot, and he had to shoot one. And tell you what, man, Devo can get some elevation when he wants to.
and it was partially actually Jalen Williams. Jalen had hit that three. He was feeling himself. He had tried to draw the charge, and it turned into the foul. And then that guy had made 2 free throws, so it was a 1-point game, I believe. This is right. And then Jalen wanted to because he was feeling himself after that shot, and then that kind of took a little bit of his gusto away when they didn't give him the charge, even though I think it was probably a fair call. But he was desperate to get that back. He was ready to be the hero. And if you go back and watch that, there was nobody. I don't know where everybody else was, but I only noticed Jalen because he was standing right next to him. Jalen wanted that three, and he was standing at the 3-point line, and he was looking for that hero shot. And that's not where he should have been, because when Devo shot that, I was like, what is going on? There was none of our players were anywhere, even they were all on the outside. Nobody was anywhere close to a rebound. I was like, no, don't shoot that, drive it, because there's nobody down there or something. And makes
he didn't
18-footer.
Yeah, and he didn't have a lot of time. I mean, there was very little time left on the shot clock at that point. I mean, he was.
I think there was 6 seconds left, but it was fine. But still, I would remember when I was watching, I was like, please don't shoot that.
The elevation on his jump shot sometimes, though, is ridiculous.
Yeah, my favorite elevation, though, was there was one time where Likes jumped 5.5 feet in the air to get a rebound, and he was battling Jalen for it, and Jalen was standing flat-footed and grabbed it. It was the best almost rebound ever.
Yeah. And then wrapping up the roster of guys who played here. I'm gonna get no, that's good. That's what I go through each guy and we talk about it. At least that's what we're doing this show. And then the guy that I want to give the ball to, Kamani Johnson, 13 minutes, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
5 fouls.
Bro, how you gonna have 6 rebounds and 2 assists in the 13 minutes you play? How are you gonna have 6 boards in 13 minutes and then dish out 2 assists and score 7 points?
It's pretty good.
And I just thought that he was the dude that was like, y'all don't want this to get too physical, okay? It's gonna be a physical game, but let's not have it be too physical, because I'm ready to fight someone. And dude, that dude is just a monster. I mean, as far as he brings some physicality. Jalen's physical, he'll play physical, but dude, Kamani Johnson's a different kind of dude. And I just thought that when Jalen had to go out, I thought Kamani Johnson was huge when he went out. That we won the rebounding battle partially, a big part to those 6 rebounds. I mean, dude, he only played 13 minutes. He had 7 points and 6 boards. That's some crazy efficiency. He probably had 18 rebounds if you played him 40 minutes.
Yeah, he probably would have played more if he hadn't been. He fouled a lot.
If he wasn't fouling / about to fight someone.
Yeah, well, I mean, and actually, he had that one move in the first half that was actually very nice, where he
just go in, bring the ball up here, finishing left, on the drive. That was spicy, dude.
Yeah, that was nice.
So I thought Kamani Johnson played, even though he only played 13 minutes. I thought it was a pretty big role that he played. And it made you, what it did is it made you, and I think we knew this anyway, but it reaffirmed that, okay, if Jalen has to go out, we know who can come in, and at the very least, still lock down the paint a little bit, be physical. It's not going to get soft in there with Kamani Johnson. It's not all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, we're not going to be able to bang. No, there's no Jalen Williams. No, he's probably going to put some guys on the foul line. He's not as skilled as Jalen in a lot of ways, but he'll get rebounds and he'll make things difficult for people, and he'll probably put someone on the floor. But I thought he played really well in those 13 minutes. So good on him.
So you got your wish. We've got Auburn coming, 8 games in a row.
Yep.
Auburn tried to lose today.
They did try. I'm glad they didn't. I didn't want them to lose. It's weird. You're watching it and you're like, yeah, man, go ahead and lose, because it's hard not to root for the underdog. But also, I don't want a wounded, we gotta we we were number one, we got beat, and we can't lose 2 in a row. I don't need that. I want you coming in number one. I mean, by the way, if Arkansas is not ranked, I
Well,
like if someone's not watching basketball. Can we stop pretending like LSU is
I was
better
saying,
than
how many
Arkansas?
games does LSU have to lose to they got like a worse record? They've lost like 8 games. Like, what's going on? How are they still in the top 25?
Can we stop pretending like Arkansas, dude? Arkansas is not a when it comes to defense, rebounding, and just general hustle. Arkansas is not good. They are freaking great. I watched a lot of college basketball the last 2 weeks, and defensively, and just getting after it on the defensive end. I mean, it's not just like the way you guard your guys, but just like getting on the floor, slapping balls around, sacrificing your body. Arkansas is not pretty good. They're really as good as anyone I've watched at that part of it. I've been paying attention to watching teams that Arkansas play, and then watching that team play against other teams and realizing, man, we made that team look like crap. And they're actually not crap. We just D'd them up like crazy. We just made them radically uncomfortable. And and I haven't said this all year, but because as we were like trying to make sure that we were in the tournament and that kind of stuff, we got a hard stretch coming across thing. But as from the basketball I've watched, not just in the SEC, across the conferences, you cannot convince me that Arkansas is not one of the 25 best teams in college basketball. That I think that's right now. I don't. That doesn't mean we're winning 2 games in the tournament or anything like that. But at this moment, which is, by the way, what I think the rankings should be, they can't be anything else. Like the rankings are like, who are the 25 best teams right now? Dude, Arkansas has to be in there next week. I mean, give me a break. There's teams. Look at the records of some of the teams in there, man. We like how many games you got to win in a row? How many teams you got to beat?
Well, they'll do it now that they're playing Auburn. They'll promote that game and want it to be a top 25 matchup. So
ESPN. I think ESPN 2 right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we moved to ESPN.
Yeah, they'll rank them. They'll throw them in there at like 20 or something like that.
Yeah, but I think I do think they deserve it. I mean, by the way, it's hard to win 8 games in a row
in conference.
Yeah,
in the SEC.
Yeah, very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
You know what happened? You know what happened last time we won that many games that were in a row in conference?
We won the national championship.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. So like we didn't even do that last year. We didn't like. I mean, we last time we did that we were, and I'm not.
Well, actually, it's not 8 games in conference, is it? I keep forgetting that.
7 in conference, but it's 8 games in a row. But the last time we won 8 games, so I think the stat is the last time we won 8 games in a row after the new year, right? So like in January and February, we won the national championship.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
And I'm not saying this is a national championship team at all.
No.
I don't think they are. But what I am saying is rank Arkansas, give me a break. The record is good. I mean, now I know we went on a skid, but the overall record's good at this point. And we're 18-5, man. I keep looking at all kinds of other teams that are decent teams playing each other all day long. You know, I mean, like teams that even we played, like Oklahoma and Kansas State, and and I'm looking at their records and I'm like, dang, those guys have struggled. You know what I mean? And they're not terrible teams. Even looking at like Texas and stuff. I mean, you just look at them and you're like, our record's not bad. No,
18-5
was good.
Yeah,
it wasn't good. It wasn't good 8 games ago.
No, 5 losses isn't as good when it's up against 12 wins, but it's not that bad when it's up against 18 wins.
No, it's not. And so, dude, I'm hyped. By the way, I loved this. I saw Jalen Williams. There he is on SEC Now, and they asked him like, "Hey, I saw that you ran over there and grabbed the stat sheet. What is the first thing you're looking at when you look at that?" You want maybe he wants to look at his own stats or whatever. And he said, "I love it." He says, "I always run over and grab the stat sheet." because I want to see who won the rebounding battle. Love it. Like you're not like going to lock. You're just like, give me that. Let me see. Like, did we do it? Love it. That's dude. That's a dude that knows what it takes to win games.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think this team is a national championship caliber team. But if they could do anything in the tournament, it's going to be fun because it's going to be through effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to be one of those just scrappy dogfight teams that, I mean, it's happened before, you know, like
Hey,
with
dude, if you're one of those, if you're like a high powered offensive team but you're soft, you don't want to meet Arkansas in the tournament.
Yeah.
You're just
Well,
like, well, we shoot the ball like crazy, but we don't play defense. You don't want to play Arkansas in the tournament because even like I think a good offensive team that's kind of soft would I think that they would get stomped out by a team like Arkansas because they're just going to make you, if you're not willing to play a little bit that way, I don't think you can win a game against a team like that.
which is why Auburn is so scary, because Auburn's not super soft. They might not be as tough as the Razorbacks, but they're not soft and they can score.
By the way, and right now Kentucky looks really good.
Yeah, Kentucky looks pretty good.
And that game's coming. This stretch, man, we got the Murderers Row stretch coming up here.
Yeah, because Tennessee's the other team that's coming on.
Yeah, they're surging. They're surging. Yeah, for sure. And we got to play them twice. So it's a tough stretch. It was a good time for Arkansas to go on a run. I'm stoked, man, for Arkansas Auburn. I mean, this will be the first game in a little bit that I'm going into, and might not have that feeling that I've had, which is I fully expect to win this game. Now, I will say this: I don't fully expect to lose this game.
Now, Auburn's beatable. I mean, they've been in some close games and probably should have 2 SEC losses. And they've been, you know, I mean, like in Georgia today, they were on the road and they seemed like the crowd bothered them a little bit. So it's really nice that they're in our house. And now they're a good enough team that if they bring their A game, I don't know if we can beat them. You know what I mean? But if they bring their C plus B minus game and we bring our A game, we can beat them.
I think that we're comparable enough that if if Arkansas can make them play, if Arkansas plays their A game, it will impose upon Auburn their B game at best, right? And so that's sort of what it comes down to is because when Arkansas is playing like as well as they can possibly play, they make you play bad.
Yeah.
Right. Like these things are directly correlated with one another. And so the question will be like, if they get Bud Walton rocking, and I don't just mean on defense too. Like you need to make some shots. You know, I'd like you to shoot a little bit more like you shot like at Georgia. It'd be nice. You know, to shoot that well, but you know, have some shots go down early. All of this stuff comes into play. If you can get some shots to fall early, get the crowd into it, get the Bud rocking, which Arkansas does a great job of turning that into energy on defense. Yeah, then I'm like at that if that thing happens, I say anyone's game, like anyone's game if you do that.
The only thing I worry about with a high-powered offensive team is, I mean, you know this, like when a team or even a player gets it going or just has their night, there's just no amount of defense and nothing you can do. There are some times where, you know, guys get that Steph Curry shot going and they're just dropping long threes in from everywhere and they can just, you know, snowball you. And I mean, you
gotta trust in Muss. Muss is the master of what is it that you want to do most, because that's the one thing you're not going to do this game.
Yeah, I know. I expect it to be close, like because I expect all of our games to be close. I mean, I've said that time and time again. I think Arkansas is the kind of team that's just going to play in close games. And so far, that's been the case. I mean, really, if you look at the only thing that's a bummer about this season is if you look at it, you wonder if Note it doesn't get COVID and doesn't miss 2 games, like you could really have a good. I mean, you could not have any losses in the SEC, and you could have like 1 loss overall or whatever. And
Yeah.
I mean, because we shouldn't have probably lost to Vanderbilt. I mean,
Definitely shouldn't have.
but at the same time, if you were looking at if you're being an optimist, we could have also lost another 3 games. You know what I mean? There's 3 or 4 games that we eat like the one tonight. I mean, the only ones we probably couldn't have lost is Georgia and Mississippi or Ole Miss, but
Missouri when we just ran them out of the gym.
Yeah, but we definitely could easily have another 3 losses, and so I'm grateful for the one. It would have been nice to have that Vanderbilt win at home. Would it? But what can you do? I'll take it, and
hey man,
we'll see.
Clicking at the right time. I think a couple of weeks ago when we were like, we'll see. Like, I don't know. I think Muss did. I mean, props to Muss. I mean, I wasn't sure exactly. I mean, I didn't see it. I believe that if it was there, he would find it, and we stated that. But what he found, I didn't see, and he definitely found it.
I didn't see winning without getting any shooting really going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like without getting any of those young new guys out there and be able to stretch the floor with some shooting. I didn't think that we would. I mean, their shooting has improved, but only marginally. That's not why they're winning. They're winning because of defense and rebounding and hustle. But,
yeah, and I love it. I mean, I love that leaning into that identity. It's the kind of team I want. I love those kind of teams, and so. All right, man. Well, let's leave it there. Great win. Good game. That game was fun to watch. It was. I thought it was a more entertaining game than the last couple. But big game on Tuesday, and so I will see you then when we have number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers coming into the Bud, man. This is that, and they need to understand that this is Jalen's
place.
Yeah. All right. See you then.
All right. We're either going to be real sad or real happy.
That's right. All right, man. I'll see you then.
All right. See ya.